Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, no, I'm not being attacked by a bunch of angry hornets. They're out there doing their crap in the thing. This is a video for Pete because, well, he calls these keys, but these are tension wrenches. And the reason why we, have terminologies for these things is so you'll know, what he's talking about when someone's talking about it. All a tension wrench is supposed to do is not pick the lock or anything. It's just supposed to go in there and move the core. See how that one's too small? This tension wrench is too small for this one. This one, it's a different shape and everything, but it's thicker. It's thicker right here. So when you put it in, it like barely fits, but it'll fit right. It'll fit right now. I'm trying to do this to the camera. See there? It'll fit. Now it doesn't move. The problem with one of those turning too much, it'll do something like, even if you did wedge it in there, it'll do something that's called like binding the core, where it's acting like a little wedge, and no matter even if you pick it or not, the lock won't open. The other thing you got to remember is which way do you want to turn it. If you're tensioning it this way, this lock will never open. It'll never open. Now the one way I usually do it is, see that little lip shape? This is just for like American locks and stuff. No, they're not different on, I don't think, the other side in Europe. But anyway, that's all a tension wrench is supposed to do. And this is bottom of the keyway. Now you see the pins up there. You don't want to block them. At one time, Pete was saying, well, it fits up here. Yeah, it does, but those are what you want to pick. And this is not a pick. This is a tension wrench. So, yeah, it takes a little bit of understanding what you're doing. Once you get this down, and I forget, that this is basic stuff. And when you're learning it, after you learn it, you don't really think about telling people this is how you hold it. This is what you do, So the reason why my finger's sitting over here is because it's a padlock. It just fits in the hand easy this way. You can grasp it like this, and you can apply your tension. See, it's just turning a little bit. Now, this is the thing that you don't want to over torque. But Pete's got it right about figuring out what you want to use as your pick. You can use any kind of pick. Different kind of picks do different things, and they call them different names, like this one right here does look like a key. It's called a city rake. And the reason why it's called a city rake is it kind of has a profile of a city, building in the background. This one's too thin. This one's 15 thousandths. This one's thicker. If you get too thin of a pick, you just have a better chance of bending it. Now, city, they call it rake or whatever, but you just stick that thing in and you're just doing a little bit of wiggling. Here's another area where you don't want to do too much, and that's going up and down a lot. You do need to do it a little bit to get the thing to fit in there, but if it works, it'll work almost like a key. A lot of times it has the shape of a lot of ways that keys are cut. So it's not so much as just going in and out, but boom. There it is. I didn't, do a lot of figuring out picking and stuff. So the ones that have a lot of different shapes on them and everything, those are designed to do something like move back and forth like a rake, But the ones that got like a diamond on them or a hook, this one's really thin. These are designed to single pin pick, but you can also use it to zip, where you just go whoop, just go whoop. It won't do anything right now because I don't have a tension wrench in it. And if you ever do progress to top of the keyway, you're going to find raking and zipping is really hard to do because you're trying to hit these pins up here and zip, but your tension wrench is right there. So tension wrench is one of these things that will just fall out all the time at the worst possible moment. All right, so the amount of force I'm putting on here is just the amount of force you would use to turn the key to open a lock. You never know, but usually on a master lock, it's not super You can go stronger tension on a master lock than you can on other locks and get them to open. But again, I'm just going in here and I'm just kind of a rocking motion, you know, I'm just going in hoping for something, moving it in and out, you know, and I'm letting it ride up a little bit, but I'm not completely fighting it, you know. We did it earlier. Maybe this guy needs to... See, the faster you go and the more you move this, you got the weight of a lock, you know, bouncing back and forth. But there we go. It did it. If you put a pick in and you're not getting any success with it, you know, you've tried a couple of different techniques, then try something else. You know, try another pick. Like this one is a double hook, but it looks like a snake. And these are designed to just... wow, you know, just boom, go in and out. They don't always work this fast. Like I said, this is a fairly easy one, but you could also go in there and wiggle, you know, and try that. Sometimes that works. You see that it likes the fast technique and attack. It doesn't like the single stuff. It doesn't want to work. And then sometimes, because you might have overset pins, you just have to back off. You know, let the core free and try it again. Because you can be too persistent. I mean, you can have it overset. It's just feel. It looks easy. It looks easy, and sometimes it is, but it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice. And like he was doing, it's best if you can see the pins, to see what you're doing. But first you've got to get the basics down, you know, which is tensioning. And the reason why I say bottom of the keyway and top of the keyway, these are top of the keyway wrenches. They look similar, but again, they're set like, this is a 50 thousandths. They're set to different thicknesses, and these are curved to shape your hand like this one's twisted and offset, so that when it's sitting in the keyway, you see how it's just sitting there? Nice little flat thing. See, I got this one to work, even though it's smaller. But the problem is, if I'm picking and stuff, it's going to get bumped down, and it's going to try to bind the core. Let's see if I can pick it, even though it's the wrong tension wrench in there. Because you'll be doing this, and you'll move it off that little ledge. But normally, this one wouldn't work. Like I said, this one's hard. We got it. That's a single pin picked it. Sometimes you can make it work, but usually, like I said, you might as well stack the odds in your favor. So there you go. That's basically tension wrenches and tension. Really, that's one of the hardest. People just harp on it a lot when talking to new pickers and everything. Here's, like I said, the top of the keyway, where, let's see if we can get it to focus over here, where this would be up here in this little notch, and it is obstructing like one pin. This one's too thick. I'd have to get something smaller. And the curve is just to shape your hand, you know, to fit in there. Let's see. See, it goes right up there. Now the advantage of that is you got all this room to pick in, you know. So now your pick can go all the way down in here. But again, a rake, it's not easy to... I don't know why I grabbed a rake. There's a fly in here. I got a bug zapper in the living room, but the bulb burnt out. See, now you've got all this room to put your pick in and to go up there and hit the pins and stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to focus on this thing without touching it. My hands are busy. See how I'm kind of like, it's whatever's most comfortable, you know, for you, because you're not trying to break a frozen bolt on a vehicle, you know, or something. This is just, it's not super light, because if you get it too light, then the pins don't stick when they go up. Oh, there we go. See, that's the amount of force I was using. And that's another thing that happens. If you're gonna pick, check wherever you're gonna drop stuff. You know, if it's a floor or whatever, make sure it's clean. If it's a carpet, I used to put, because I'd take locks apart, and if you drop a pin, you take a lock apart, you drop a pin, it's tiny. Let me get a bag of pins. These things are tiny. These are specialized pins. These are called like chess piece. Lock Noob made some of these, but you put them in there, and when you're picking it, man, the core will turn when it comes to the spool part. And you know, without any of this, like you got in master locks right here, they're just straight up pins. There's nothing special on them like these. So when you start running this, but if you drop these, try finding that on the floor or on the carpet, especially my floor, my carpet. And they're not magnetic. You know, if they were magnetic, you would say, oh, fine, I might get a magnet down here. That's what I do. Man, I wish. I mean, sometimes you get steel pins, but they're usually security pins just for anti-drill purposes. So there you go. I hope that helped you out, Pete. That always used to get me too, is which way does it turn, you know? And that's what I usually do, is just try to figure out, you know, you just look at the way this thing is slotted. If you've got a key for any of them, you just see which way it turns. It's usually clockwise to open it and counterclockwise to lock it. Or, I mean, counterclockwise is available on some locks, but not all of them. Some locks are tricky. Some of the old locks, they only open counterclockwise. So, man, you start picking, you think, man, I can pick every other lock. What is wrong with this? Why am I not getting anything working? It's because you're going the wrong way. They did it opposite. They did it backwards. I don't remember the name of that lock, but oh, man. Really, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a hobby. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. You can go down to Home Depot or one of those other ones, and you could buy a quick set door lock, you know, or something like that. One of them, they call them Mountain Home or Mountain House or whatever, you know. Mountain Security, I don't know, but you know, the operand. Just get one of those, the cheapest one you can find, and practice. You'll be surprised how easy it is on door locks, you know, on household door locks too. They're so easy. But don't practice on your own, because you're going to screw it up. You see how it is, you know, you're abusing a lot of times, going back and forth and everything. That's why you get practice locks and you practice on your own locks. If you start messing with your car or your door, your house, you know, or anything that you need or use, it's going to screw it up. So, yeah. There you go. Hope that helped you out, Pete. I don't want it to be too long. Tension wrenches. They basically take the place of the turning part of the key. The picks, whatever shape they are, they take care of the cutout of the key. They're the ones that are trying to... I got all kinds of keys in here, man, believe me. Ancient keys, old keys, new keys, but when I need a key that's got bitting in it. Alright, so your tension wrench is taking care of this part, the part that you grasp. The pick is taking care of this part, however you do it. If you zip it through, then you're basically manipulating these pins. It's like a little slot machine, because the springs on top are trying to push those driver pins down to keep that from happening. And when you reach the right thing, because you're applying, you know, just the right amount of tension, when that shear line lines up before that pin can fall all the way down, oh, you've opened the lock. That's it in kind of a nutshell. But yeah, these are a bunch of keys to locks that I already had. These are some antique keys. These are awarded locks. You know what I mean? So Anyway, yeah, like I said, you can get deeply into it. Blank keys, where you cut your own keys for locks once you've picked them and figured them out. Like I said, you can get deep. You can get deep into locks and lock picking and lock sport, but it's a good community, and it's an entertaining and fun hobby, and sometimes it can come in useful. You know, it can come in handy. Later on, I'll show you some jiggler keys. I don't have a lot of those, but those are like for cars and stuff like that. Because cars have got chips, you won't be able to start the car, but a lot of times you lock your keys inside your car. And so if you've got a set of, basic jiggler keys and you know how to use them, you can get into your vehicle and retrieve your keys. Now, most time people will Slim Jim or something like that. They'll use a wedge to get into vehicle entry, but still. There you go. I've talked too long once again. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.